See, and you thought the Red Wedding is as brutal as this show gets? The Battle of the Bastards makes that look like child's play. And not to discredit the Red Wedding too much, because it is still freaking shocking, but I don't think anything else is gonna top the Battle of the Bastards, folks, and, enough said. Game of Thrones Season 6, yes, finally! I have been binging this show for the longest time now, and let me just say, I have had a blast going back and discussing this with you guys firsthand with fresh eyes. Now we're at the point that many fans consider this to be the highest point the show would ever reach, and hoo boy, we've got a lot to unpack here. Now, you guys already know that the production value of this show is going to be top-notch, shooting on location and what have you. You already know that the performances from people like Kit Harington, Peter Dinklage, Emilia Clarke, these are all going to be phenomenal performances. You already know that Ramin Djawadi's score is epic as so I'm not going to spend too much time on those production elements in this video because you know they're all excellent. This is going to be more focused on the story elements that I find either worrisome or epic. And yes, in case you haven't gotten to this point in Game of Thrones yet, this will be filled with spoilers, so tread lightly, my friends. You've been fairly warned. But there are just so many shocking moments, incredible reunions, and a penultimate episode that is untouchable in my eyes. You already know that Game of Thrones' tradition is to throw everything at you in Episode 9, with the Battle of Blackwater, the Red Wedding, just to name a few. Episode 9, every single season, it always seems to be the best episode. And let's get this out of the way, first of all. The Battle of the Bastards is everything that people have been hyping it up to be and more. Honestly, there were war sequences in this one episode that honestly felt right out of Saving Private Ryan or Hacksaw Ridge, the best war films ever put out there. These war sequences and these battles are just horrifying, and yet they all come off looking so glorious at the same time. That shot from behind Jon Snow when the cavalry is running towards him, all the horses are ready to trample him. That right there is a shot that encapsulates how amazing of a character Jon Snow has become, and I knew it. I knew this was in there. I've been waiting so long for Jon Snow to become as cool of a character as he is in Season 6. Kit Harington is a badass. And here he was, after he was fatally stabbed by his brothers in the Night's Watch, he is reincarnated in a jarring moment of catharsis for sure. Predictable that he would come back to life? Yeah, maybe a smidge, but holy crap was that still an amazing moment to watch at the end of episode 2. And then on top of that, he is reunited with Sansa Stark in an amazing moment, to say the very least. Super, super emotional. And they share a lot of really emotional, gut-wrenching scenes together as well. They are just, both of these guys are just acting their hearts out. But then you get to episode 9 in the Battle of the Bastards, Jon Snow's first encounter with Ramsay Bolton, who has just been so evil. Those are the only scenes they share together, by the way, is in episode 9, which makes it all the more remarkable that their chemistry is as good as it is. Now, I realize that a lot of people, the Battle of the Bastards itself, it's kind of one-sided, but to me, honestly, that didn't really bug me as much as it did with other people, because if you remember, Ramsay Bolton was playing the coward pretty much throughout that entire episode, so that when Jon Snow finally gets his hands on him, he is letting him have it. Ramsay Bolton does not get a lick of offense in on Jon Snow, and him all bloodied up is just, oh, it just feels so satisfying after everything Ramsay was doing throughout this series. He deserves that. And even better when he's all chained up in the cell, Sansa is just watching over him, and then she sicks his hungry hounds on him. He hasn't fed them in 7 days. Oh my god, the dramatic irony there is just so, so perfect. Ramsay's demise, chef's kiss. Loved it. So long, sucker. That was what I said when Ramsay was eaten by those dogs. I have issues. You know who else became quite the badass this season was Arya Stark. Maisie Williams, oh my god, she was great in this as per usual, but she is just getting, she's just being put through the ringer here. She finishes her assassin training and returns to Westeros to resume her revenge list, and what a great arc this is. She has a really fun chase sequence with one of her fellow students, which results in this meanie's face being scraped off, and then it's put up in that assassin temple as some sort of trophy. How gruesome. Then she finally takes back her name and goes after the man responsible for putting away Robb Stark in the Red Wedding. Finally. You want to talk about more catharsis? Arya Stark definitely got a lot of comeuppance back. I loved that part. And again, it's such a cathartic moment in a season that is filled with them. Now, obviously, this was one of the most fun seasons to watch for Game of Thrones for me, and this is definitely top tier, but that's not to say that I don't have my concerns leaving Season 6, because I feel like this is where it starts to head downhill, doesn't it? Those of you who have been keeping up with my videos about Game of Thrones so far, you already know that my favorite character in this is Tyrion. And Tyrion is ruling over Meereen while Daenerys Targaryen is held captive by the Dothraki. And Emilia Clarke, let me just say, as Daenerys, is the definition of a fearless leader. After her kidnapping, she ends up burning the Khals, emerging from the flames of their temple alive and unscathed. Very reminiscent of that iconic moment she had in an earlier season with her babies. That's also where her ex-husband, played by Jason Momoa, was killed. Who forgot Jason Momoa was in this series? And that leads to the surviving Dothraki pledging their loyalty to Daenerys Targaryen, which, again, comes full circle here. But again, it's just such a cathartic moment for Daenerys here. Everything with Daenerys this season, fucking great, guys. I have not a single problem with her arc. And that's made even better with fully grown goddamn dragons. Holy shit, these things are so cool. The CGI on these things is astounding to me. And let's just say that they inflict some pretty hefty damage along the way. Their body count, oh my god, I lost count after episode 1. Now Tyrion, on the other hand, oh boy, he left me astounded in a very different way. This is not on Peter Dinklage at all, because his acting chops still hold him in my highest regard. I still think Tyrion is my favorite character overall, but I do have some concerns about his trajectory, because there were a few moments where Tyrion was made to look like the blithering idiot, instead of the wise advisor that I've grown used to with all the witty one-liners. Now some of his jokes are very cringe, and I really hope it doesn't get any worse for his character in terms of development, but judging from how people perceive the final seasons, it probably does. Now, speaking of concerning characters, I've got to talk a little bit about Cersei Lannister after she makes the Walk of Atonement towards the end of Season 5. Honestly, that was a huge moment of comeuppance for a character who has been evil for so long. But this season, there's a bit of a redemption arc for her here, and I honestly don't know what to think of it. I mean, there's a redemption arc for Jaime Lannister, and I was not on board with that really much at all. It's very hard to forgive Jaime still. Cersei, on the other hand, I don't know. It's just, after watching her be so mean to people for so long, now there's just some redemption here, and I get it. The character arc should not be complete if the characters don't at least go through some evolution, but I'm not entirely on board with this yet. Granted, her finale is really fucking dope, where she actually burns the whole Tyrell household alive. Moment of silence for Natalie Dormer, by the way. We'll never be seeing her again in this series. But again, I feel like it's a case of wait and see through Season 7, but I don't know. I mean, I wasn't completely on board. It was very hard for me to kind of get behind Cersei in that way after she had been so demented. Now, this is also the season where Bran Stark becomes the three-eyed raven, essentially becoming the badass, if you will. I was never fully into Bran Stark as a character. I mean, the pilot episode where he's shoved off the freaking tower by Jaime Lannister after he sees what he sees in there. Still can't get that out of my head. I mean, there's just really nothing else all that interesting about Bran to me. And, I mean, again, this is just a case where I'll have to wait and see through these final 2 seasons to see how his arc wraps up. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't fully invested in his big chase moments in this. But I will admit, there is a really scary sequence with the Night King in there, and the Night King almost gets to him. Oh man, I can't wait to see more of that guy. So even though I do have some concerns with some of these characters and their trajectories going into these final 2 seasons, I'm not gonna downgrade Season 6 too much because I had a blast with it. From start to finish, this is top tier Game of Thrones for damn good reason. But with all that in mind, Game of Thrones Season 6 is getting its well-deserved A+. Whether you like it or not, this is probably where the show peaks, just judging from what most of my friends have been telling me. Stay tuned for season 7 and 8 videos coming very soon, guys. And I will get to those. I don't know when, but trust me, I will finish this series. Other than that, other things you can look forward to on this channel are my reviews for Death on the Nile. Uncharted also comes out next Friday at the time of recording. I'll also be finishing off my Harry Potter playlist, Half-Blood Prince, hopefully having Half-Blood Prince up on the channel sometime within the next week as well. And trust me, you do not want to miss out on any of this exciting content hitting my channel very, very soon. So smash that subscribe button and that notification bell right next to it. That way you don't miss out on any of the action. This channel is also on the road to 1,000 subscribers, not to mention, and I would love if you could help me out getting to that number. And guys, if you enjoyed the video, smash that thumbs up button. It would really, really mean the world to me. And stay tuned for more exciting content hitting this channel very, very soon, as I've alluded to. And y'all, thank you all so very much again for supporting the content up to this point. With all that being said, back talk, commence!